everyone, and welcome back to the Unity Kids Block Party. All month, we're throwing a super fun party where everyone is invited. It's a big party because we're celebrating something that's important for all of us, and that is friendship. It's important for us to have good friends, and it's even more important for us to be good friends, too. We can show love in the way that we speak and the way that we treat people. This month, we're defining friendship as something using your words and actions to show others you care about them, and that can't be farther from fiction. I'll tell you what, since we're all together now, why don't we wave at the friends that are around us? Go ahead, wave at them and tell them, "Hi, friend." That's really sweet of you that you did that. When you think of people who are really good friends, who do you think about? And aren't they just the best people? We think about friendships here at Unity Kids, and there are certain friends who always come to mind. In fact, there are two guys in the Bible I'm thinking about right now who are famous for their friendship, Johnathan and David. And we're going to read about their story today in the book of 1 Samuel. Let me give a little background first. Before this story took place way back in the Old Testament, there was a time when God called his people the Israelites, and he put somebody in charge of them to lead them. God had given them judges who guided them and prophets like Samuel who listened to God and shared his word with his people. Now at the time, the Israelites didn't have a king because God wanted his people to trust him as their leader. But the Israelites saw that all the other nations had impressive kings, and so they begged God to give them a king too. Eventually, God told the prophet Samuel to choose Israel's first two kings. And the first king that Samuel chose was Saul, and then it would be King David. King Saul was in charge, and so everyone half expected that his son Johnathan would later be king as well. I mean, that's how that works, right? But God would choose David to be the future king because David had a good heart. King Saul chose David to lead the armies into battle, and David kept winning and winning battle after battle. And everyone seemed to really like David. He was just a really great guy. And King Saul's son, Johnathan, could have been really jealous of David, but he wasn't. See, David was his best friend, and Johnathan was so happy for him. He supported him, and he was happy about the big plans that God had for David. In fact, he honored David by giving him all sorts of goodies. His robe, his belt, his sword, and his bow, which is basically saying we're BFFs now. And Johnathan wasn't the slight bit jealous of David at all. He was a great friend, and he supported him and hoped that he would be a great king one day. However, King Saul was not too happy about this. He saw how popular David was around his people, and he became insanely jealous. Saul became so jealous, in fact, that he threw a spear at David. And that would have been really difficult to live around. So David went away, and things did not get better. Later on, King Saul told Johnathan and all of his servants that they should kill David. And Johnathan wasn't going to let that happen. He told David what was going to happen, and he told David to hide while he went to talk to his dad. Now, King Saul had promised to never hurt David again, but do you think he kept his promise? Not so much. Once again, Saul tried to kill David, and when he failed, he sent other men to try it and other men to try it, and it was just a real big hot mess. Even though his dad was acting this way, Johnathan was determined to protect his best friend, and he and David made a complicated plan. You see, King Saul was throwing this big feast, and David decided that he was going to skip it. When the king asked where David was, Johnathan planned to make up a story, just so he could see how angry his father was at David. But when it came time to tell David how King Saul reacted, that's when they were going to put their super secret plan into action. Johnathan planned to shoot an arrow into the air, and depending on where he would shoot it and where it would land, David would know if he should stay or if he should run away. Before Johnathan left the feast, he made a request with David. He said this in 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 14 through 15. "Always be kind to me, just as the Lord is. Be kind to me as long as I live. Then I won't be killed, and never stop being kind to my family." David agreed with Jonathan's request, and he promised to always be kind to Johnathan and his family, and further on. Then David left the city, while Johnathan went back to King Saul. Now, this is quite a friendship, and unfortunately, this was going to be the last time they would see each other. Everyone expected Jonathan to be the next king, but sometime later, an army of Philistines came to attack the temple, and they destroyed everything. And Saul and Jonathan, they didn't make it. So when David came back, the people wanted David to be their king, and God had chosen him to lead his people. And it would be easy for Jonathan to be angry or jealous, but instead he was a true friend to David. He even shared the best things with him, and he helped him keep him safe from danger. And David would also be a great friend to Jonathan. Years later, when David was king, he would show his kindness to Jonathan's family. He would later find one of Jonathan's children living in the city of Jerusalem, and he invited him to come live in the temple, and their friendship was made strong. These two friends lived out a simple truth about friendship: that friends love one another. And we can do the same thing they did. Instead of getting angry or jealous, we can choose to show love to our friends. We can support each other, defend each other, and keep our promises with each other. That's just like our Bible verse this month in Proverbs chapter 17, verse 17. Let's read this together as a group on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. A friend loves at all times. They are there to help when trouble comes. I hope you're a good friend to those who love you, and I hope that you're showing kindness to everyone around you. Despite whatever situation you and your friend may be in, forgiving each other, encouraging them, letting them know that you care about them is a great good. And it takes a good person like you to do good things. This week, a lot of us have started school, and that's so exciting. And I know things are a little weird right now, but I just want to say, keep up the good work. All of this stuff is just temporary, and it's going to be okay in the end. As you are my friends, I am praying for you always, and I want to encourage you to keep up the good work, to always love, and to know that you are loved by people who are around you. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you all next time.